All right, I'm going to be going over shearing. Shearing is an operation that we might do to a form such as a cube where you're taking a section and you're shearing it off, you're cutting it off, and then usually designers will have that maybe hover or show like an exploded view of that section or of that part away from the main body of the form. So if I were to draw this without a ruler and we're doing 3/4 top-down view, I've got my 3/4 view cube. Remember to keep these lines straight and do either one of two things. Have them seem to converge to the same vanishing point if we had vanishing points on a horizon line, which we don't have on our paper, or just keep them parallel. Specifically for AR 111, I'll accept either. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up drawing this cube as if I can see through it. Notice I'm not using my ruler. For your quiz, you won't be able to use your ruler either. And what we're going to do with shearing, just for the simple operation and the simple understanding of it, is I'm going to shear off this front corner. And I'm going to shear it off diagonally. So I'm just going to put a dot there and there. This is going to be my angle of cut. So where the cut ends here and here, top plane and side plane, make sure to have a line that works in the same way, meaning the same angle. I'm going to change that angle a little bit. There we go. As this guy and this guy. Notice that they correlate to each other. Same thing, this guy and this guy. It's going to help us correlate him. And over here on the other side, we're connecting where that cut is. So this is my corner that I'm going to be shearing from my box. Ultimately, at this stage, all you have to do now is take this and make him hover, this corner float above the box body that we have. So what I like to do is I just like to lighten my lines in this area. I still want to be able to see them. And I need to use them to give myself guidelines. Because what I'm going to end up doing is this area right here, just going to come straight up, right? And remember, we sheared this at an angle. So all you need to remember to do is whenever you draw this corner hovered up, keep this angle parallel. Okay, so that's the shear line, right? And then I'm just going to continue that triangle. This is a straight line right there. Notice that this line right here is going to correlate to this guy and this guy, where that's going. So this diagonal cut line is this guy right here. I've extended that area up. I have finished out my triangle. I've bolded it a little bit with my pencil line, so hopefully you guys can see. And then you take that, extend that. Remember, that line is going to correlate to this line. These two correlate. This guy as well. And remember, we've extended it straight up. So you can use like extension guidelines from the main body of the box. This is the main body of the box. Remember, we cut here, so that's our cut line. I'm going to bolden lines so that you can see. This was a guideline. It told me how far up I was going. So just like that, I will keep boldening my lines so that you can see. So I've sheared off this corner. And so I'm seeing the cut of the big box below it. And if the box were opaque, I wouldn't see these inside guidelines. Those inside guidelines, they're the inside, like that back corner, we would not be able to see that. And for shearing, depending on what it is that you're shearing, I chose this front corner. For your quiz, I recommend that too. Then you don't need to be drawing these back corner edges. But it's always good to be drawing that just as habit the first time you're drawing your box before you do any operation, just in case you do need to know where those back lines are. Gonna erase what I don't need here. And this is my sheared corner off of the main body of my box. And if it's helpful, you can always kind of shade in something a little bit down here just to show yourself with value where that overlap might be or what's hovering above something else. So remember, just in conclusion, if I were to talk through this, what I just did, you draw your 3/4 top-down view cube, which in our minds is going to be like a 2-point perspective box, right? But there's no horizon line, there's no vanishing points. Just make sure these lines are either all parallel or it looks like they're all going to the same vanishing point. Then when you draw your box, you slice diagonally this front corner. You can choose however severe you want that slant, but I recommend not making it too crazy severe. Once you cut that off, then those areas where it hits the top plane and the side plane, they follow the same angles, that same relationship of angles that you see with their respective side planes. Like this guy's going that way, that guy's going that way. And so that would give us this little triangle of a corner that we're popping out of the cube. So with that like triangular prism, we then needed to hover it or float it above the box. So I just took these points that I had already for my cut slant line, and I just drew them upwards. You could do it here in the front and here in the back. Okay, so we're just hovering it straight up. So that told me where to put these straight lines right there. And then this slant cut line is going to be parallel to the same cut, so it needs to be the same angle. And that's where that told me to stop right there, because this dot goes right up, right there, right up, right there, slant line. And then don't forget that this top line, he doesn't go straight across. He has to be correlating to this line and this line. So either make them parallel or make them look like they're converging to the same vanishing point. This is going to be straight up and down because he correlates to this front corner. This back edge will be straight up and down because he's correlating to this vertical line as well. And then these guys all go back to the same vanishing point, just like how these would be. Again, the vanishing point's not actually seen. And then these lines are doing the same thing. They correlate to here and here. Once you have your sheared corner hovering, then you would bolden what we would see in reality. So don't forget, we have the main body of the box underneath. Looks now like he has a slant cut right there. And then hovering above, we have that corner sheared up from the box.